Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie and Larry, and this is Christ is Calling Ministries. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking on the topic of love. In light of everything that is going on around us right now, I think love is just foundational, and I just want to reiterate, some of the things that we need to know and remember about love, especially to my Christian brothers and sisters. Again, my name is Carrie Ann Lariu, and we are going to be talking about love today. I'm going to be talking and sharing with you from 1 John 4, verse 7 through 11. In the midst of that, we're talking about God is love, so we need to be able to love one another. Now, I see around us where there is so many positive changes happening for the Black community. Things and symbols that have been up for so many years have been removed, and the work continues. And I'm also seeing on another end where there is tension in some places. I see not only between Christians, brothers and sisters with different ideas and different thoughts and different perspectives, but also like even in the government. We see them going at each other. There is no respect anymore for authority. And I understand, however, we that are of Christ, we cannot allow that to influence us and our actions and our behaviors. And so, with that being said, I want to jump in. Verse 7 says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. In this was manifested the love of God toward us, because that God sent his only begotten Son into the world that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought also to love one another." And so I remember not too long ago, a young man forgave someone who murdered his brother, and there was such an uprising about that, with different feelings. Different people felt different ways, and even fellow Christians were like, "Nah, you shouldn't forgive him." But that was an expression of the unfounded love that we can only experience through Jesus Christ. Now, when we talk about love, verse 7 talks about he that loves, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God." So, not to misunderstand, I don't think John is saying here that if someone loves, they're, a Christian or whatever. No, because not everyone that says they are loving someone actually is loving them in the purest possible form. So, let me just say, I want to make a distinction here that mere human love, apart from the redeeming, from Christ's redeeming presence and motivation, cannot measure up to the love in its fullest and purest form, that we can experience when we know Christ. We can love as mere human beings without knowing Jesus Christ, but it's not going to be the purest and fullest form of love that one experiences when you've experienced God's redeeming grace or Christ's redeeming presence. Verse 9 states specifically that God is love. And so to my Christian brothers and sisters, you cannot say you're of God and still holding on to hate, whether it's from years ago, what happened to your foreparents, or from the white side of things where, you just grew up with a family that even though they were Christians, they still felt there was a difference between how they are treating Black fellow Christians or, as opposed to their white, Christian brothers and sisters. So love doesn't allow that to happen, at least not love in the purest form that we get when we're redeemed by Jesus Christ. And so because of all these things that are happening around, I just feel like this is a good time to just talk about love. How do you love one another? You love one another, you love your neighbor as yourself. If you wouldn't treat yourself differently. And this is not even only a black and white thing, because we also have other prejudices. But during COVID, God has allowed me to even search myself. When George Floyd was killed, God even allowed me to search myself, not only with black and white issues, but other issues that I may have harbored. And I had to really look within to see, okay, how do I treat someone that is physically challenged? How do I treat the elderly? How do I treat white people? How do I treat my fellow black brothers and sisters? And so it's something that I had to do within myself, to make sure I'm measuring up to the love that the Bible talks about, the love that really harbors nothing, no hate. The love that allows us not to see the people's differences as a reason to not treat them equally. And so let me see if there's anything that I'm missing with this. And then, of course, I highlighted in there is the love that God had for us that is manifested through the love that he gave, or through the giving of his one and only son to pay a price for us. It says Jesus bore in his body the punishment due us for our sin. In so doing, he propitiated God, satisfied God's just demand that sin be punished. So that's what it means that God gave his son to satisfy his own demand for sin to be punished, and he gave that punishment to his own son, Jesus Christ. That is love. And then there's another verse that says, how much love, I'm not quoting word for word, but there is no greater love than for a friend to lay down his life for someone that he loves. And that's what Jesus did for us. And because Jesus did that for us, we can love somebody else, whether they love us or not. Our love is not dependent, or true, pure love is not dependent on reciprocation. We don't need someone else to give it back to us to be able to love. And so that's where I want to leave it today. Just a reminder that God is love. And usually I'm talking to my unsaved friends and family, but today I wanted to talk specifically to the saved people, because sometimes we allow what is happening in the world to deter us from who we really are, what we ought really to be doing. And so I just wanted to bring this reminder. We cannot be like the world because we are not of the world. So remember to love your neighbor as yourself. Remember not to look at skin color to express love. We are one under God, those of us who have accepted the redeeming grace of Jesus Christ, and we ought to be acting like it. We ought to be loving one another regardless of the differences that we are seeing. We ought to not act like the world is acting,
even if it seemed like we should, even if we kind of agree.
We ought not to be like the world. So again, a reminder, because God is love, love one another. And with that, I'm going to end here. I hope to see you in my next video. I am looking forward to your sharing this video and subscribing if you found something here that you need. With that being said, I pray that you have a blessed day.